So I pulled apart a 100-year-old camera just for fun. G'day. Yeah, I've had this Kodak vest pocket camera Model B kicking around the house for many years. There's lots of these things around. They usually sit on shelves or in cabinets or whatever. There's a sort of display, you know, people open them out and pull the lenses out and everything, and it all looks nice and everything, but no one uses them. So I thought this thing had a good life. It's still got life in it, but I'm not going to get 127 film or try to fit a 35mm onto spools or something like that. So what else can I do? Now, it's got a lens in it, and anything with a lens in it to me is fair game. So I've been able to get the lens off this and onto my digital camera. So there's the lens mounted in a 3D printed mount that I've got. The lens itself is very simple. It does have a form of aperture control, which is used by this wheel. You have numbers here in a window, and as you turn the wheel, the size of the aperture in there changes. So it's on 1, which is a larger setting, 2, 3, and finally the smallest diameter hole, 4. So you just change the size of the hole. Quite simple. It also has 2 different methods of using the shutter. T, which is time, what you would use when you mount it on a digital camera, and you've got I, which is instant. Each time you go either up or down with the shutter, it opens for about a 30th of a second. Because when you mount this on digital camera, you end up with 2 shutters, the one in the lens and the one in the camera, of course. You can't use it like that. So you set it on T, time, and have the shutter open. And that way you use the shutter in the camera to actually take photos. So have it open, use the shutter on the camera. Now, reading about this lens, the focal length was hard to come by. I've had it suggested it's 77mm or 85mm. Most sites won't mention the focal length, they just say it varies. So I'd say from model to model, the actual focal length of the lens will be a bit different. One site said it had a 2-element lens. Certainly not true of this one. This is 1 element. Luckily it's actually easy to take out. I've loosened it a bit. So with most of these film camera lenses, you can pull the elements out one by one. This only has 1 element, which is there. This one is, well, it needs a bit of a clean. I'll give it a bit of clean, put it back in the lens, and hopefully we'll get slightly better images out of it. But incredibly easy to get out and put back in. So after a bit of a clean with a lens cloth, I've been able to make this glass nice and clear, which is a good thing. I'll put it back into the body. It's only one way it goes because there's only a thread on one side. So just have to put that in finger tight first, and then use the tool to tighten it up, which isn't hard. Job done. So there it is on the front of my GFX 50R. 3D printed adapter there, so it screws on the front of a helicoid, so I have focus. Now on the original cameras, minimum focus was about 7 feet or a bit over 2 meters, but because this is now mounted on a digital camera with a helicoid, I can focus in and out much better. Minimum focus now is approximately 1 foot, as the Americans would say. So yeah, about 30 centimeters minimum focus, which is a big improvement over the original design. So the idea is to use this lens in closest format as I can to how it was on the original camera. So the shutter speed on the old vest pocket was 30th of a second, so shooting at 30th of a second. I've chosen a film ISO typical of the day, so it's a bit overcast today, so 200 ISO and it stays on that. The aperture is controlled on the front of the lens, but big overcast day, I'm shooting it as wide open as this lens will let me, in black and white of course. Unlike on the original Vest Pocket Kodak camera, we can see how our exposure's set. We've got histograms and stuff like that, so I can see whether I have to adjust this aperture manually just to get the light right. Another advantage of using these old lenses on a modern camera is you got focus peaking, because with the original camera you guesstimated the focus, same as you guesstimated how the light was, what aperture to use. So with focus peaking I can just adjust the helicoid here, which the lens is attached to, and find my focus up. So big advantages. So shooting into the sun over water, it's very bright, so get the aperture again, close it down, see what it's like on 1, and yeah, that's more like it. Just for interest's sake, this is the Watts River, which comes out of Maroondah Dam, that I was just filming at. It's a little bit high, we've had some rainfall. I was pleasantly surprised by this lens, 100 years old, and did a remarkable job. At first I thought, sharpness isn't a thing, don't expect anything, but it was a pleasant surprise. So quite impressed with that single element lens from the old Kodak Vest Pocket cameras. Now, the camera I got that off runs 127 film. Is that medium format? Well, back in the day they didn't call it that. 35mm had just been invented, patented. I think the first Leica came out, was patented in 1913 or something. This camera was made after that. So they already knew about 35mm film, which began to be called full frame. 120 film was medium format, and they called the 127 film Vest Pocket film. Nowadays, yeah, we'd probably call it medium format. simply because that term is pretty flexible nowadays, because the 127 negative is bigger than the sensor in the Fujifilm GFXs, and they call that medium format even though it's smaller than 127, but it's bigger than full frame, and that seems to be the standard nowadays. If it's bigger than full frame, must be medium format. So there you go. People can argue about that till the ducks come home, but what did you think? Have you tried any of those real old lenses on your digital cameras? Let me know in the comments below. But whatever you do, whatever camera you got, pick it up, take it for a walk and have some fun. Bye.